Hey guys, today I want to take a look at a new forecast for the 2020 presidential election, and that is the new Statesman forecast. It has been updated just today, and it was made a couple weeks ago, just around 2 to 3 weeks ago. So it's a relatively new forecast that we have not taken a look at on this channel. So in this video, I want to take a look at that forecast and just go through the data that they present and how they are projecting the 2020 presidential election. So this is their map. I'm going to take a closer look at this later after we take a look at their forecast so you can understand what these margins mean. As you can see, it was last updated on September 26th, and this forecast currently gives Joe Biden an 81.5% chance of winning the presidency according to this election model. And then taking a look at the Electoral College votes forecast, Joe Biden, his average is 328 according to their 50,000 simulations. For context, 538 does 40,000 simulations. As you can see, Joe Biden, his range is between 208 to 429, so where 95% of the forecasts fall, 208 to 429. So quite a big range for Joe Biden, and a pretty large range for President Trump as well, between 109 and 330 electoral votes, his average being 210 electoral votes. So on average, Joe Biden would win the 2020 election by 118 electoral votes, according to their 50,000 simulations that they have done. And that's just some other stuff you can read. You can take a look at this forecast by yourself if you want to take a closer look at some different areas, if that is what you would like to do. So this is their state-by-state forecast. As you can see, this is just the electoral map right here. And they use more untraditional classifications. They use safe, probable, likely, and unclear based on the percentage chance of victory for either candidate. So you can see these safe Democratic states are of course very solid for Joe Biden, and these swing states are, of course, either unclear or likely states. So the probable states, as you can see, Nevada, Colorado. We're going to take a closer look at this in just a few moments here, but likely is between 60 to 80%, probable 80 to 95, safe, anything more than 95, and unclear is between 40 and 60%. So this is their electoral map. As you can see, most of the blue states, these are all solid for Joe Biden. All of the West Coast, of course, is in this category, along with Hawaii and most of the Northeast, as well as the state of Illinois. And these are the typical solid states that you see for Joe Biden. However, on this electoral map, the states of New Mexico and Virginia are also in the solid Biden column. I think this is correct, as I do think that Joe Biden has an over 95% chance of carrying these states. Taking a look at the probable states, this is the second highest classification for either candidate. For Joe Biden, we have Nevada, Colorado, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Maine. That's 5 likely states for Joe Biden. For President Trump, he has most of his solid states. Some states like Montana, Utah are not likely states or probable states on this map. They are solid states for the president according to this forecast. And then he has quite a few probable states, Missouri, South Carolina, and Alaska, as well as 2 likely states, being the states of Iowa and Texas. I'm going to take a closer look at the percentages in these states in just a few moments, but I just want to take a look at these classifications first. Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia are the only unclear states on this map, while North Carolina and Georgia are currently in favor of Joe Biden by a very small margin, and Ohio is currently forecasted to still go to Donald Trump, but his chances of victory here are much smaller than the chances of victory in other states. So, taking a look at this map here, as you can see, the Rust Belt, Joe Biden 78% chance in Wisconsin, 79 in Michigan, and 73 in Pennsylvania. So this is very close, becoming probable. Very good signs for Joe Biden. He has an over 7 out of 10 chance of winning all 4 of these states. Some other swing states, the state of Arizona, 65% chance of going to Joe Biden. This would be a flip, as well as the state of Florida, 65% chance of going to Joe Biden. Looking at Joe Biden's likely states, or probable states in this case, the state of Minnesota, 81% chance of going to the former vice president. The state of Nevada, 86% chance. The state of Colorado, 93%. I think that this could be very close to being a safe state for the Democrats in the future. And then Maine, 91% chance of going to Joe Biden. And the state of New Hampshire, 85%. Looking at the Trump states, as you can see, most of these states all pretty solidly red. Of course, Montana is a little bit closer. And Kansas also a little bit closer in this election. And I actually did some of my classifications wrong. I did not notice, but the states of Louisiana and Mississippi are actually probable states. I don't know how I missed that. I apologize for that. I'm actually going to put them into this category right now. Louisiana and Mississippi. These are two likely states for Donald Trump on this map. That is not good. These are states in the deep South. This is as south as you can honestly go if you don't go to Texas or Florida. So this is pretty bad for the GOP that they don't have a over 95% chance of carrying these states. These are states that have been so loyal to the GOP for decades now, and it looks as if in this election, Mississippi and Louisiana are going to be closer than they have ever been in the last couple of years. The state of South Carolina, 87% chance of going to Donald Trump. This was a state that went to him by over 14% in 2016, so we got to keep that in mind. A state like New Mexico that went to Hillary Clinton by around 5% is a solid state, but a state that went to Trump in 2016 by over 14%, only 87% chance of going to the president once again. And then the state of Alaska, 87% chance as well. Another state that Trump won by over 14% is now in the probable column for the president. And so these states, Missouri, South Carolina, these southern states, as well as Alaska, they're almost definitely going to go to Trump, but just the chances that it projects for a Trump victory in these states really is not too great. And then Iowa and Texas, 67% chance of a Trump victory in Texas, and then a 63% chance of a Trump victory in Iowa. These are states that Trump won by over 8% in 2016. Now it is in only the likely column for the president. So that is definitely a step down from his margins in 2016. And then these three closest states, Ohio, 58% chance of going to the president. North Carolina, 58% chance of going to the former vice president. And then the state of Georgia, 52% chance of going to Joe Biden. Very close race here. I'm surprised to see that they actually categorize Georgia as going to Biden. The three newest polls do show that Biden and Trump are in a dead even tie, which is definitely a great sign for Biden, horrible sign for Trump, but still I do think that Trump would still be able to carry the state of Georgia. However, a lot can change. Biden's numbers are increasing there, so we're going to see how this race continues in the next couple of weeks. This is the Hex Map, basically same thing, just in hexagons, taking a look at which candidate are going to get their electoral votes from. So since California has the largest amount, 55 electoral college votes. In Florida, 29, Texas, 38. So as you can see, this is basically the same thing, except in hexagons by electoral vote count. And this is an estimation of each state's result in 2020. As you can see here, this is just basically the same thing in a sort of like bar graph, I guess. A lot of the forecasts do like to do this, like the Economist forecast, if you saw my videos on that. So this just shows which states that Joe Biden does need and which states that Joe Biden does not need. So Joe Biden does not need Florida, he does not need Arizona, nor does he need North Carolina and Georgia. So these are four pretty important states. These are not small states. Florida, 29 electoral votes. The state with the third largest amount of electoral votes is Florida, and Joe Biden does not need it to win. He does not need Arizona, which is 11 electoral votes, which is still a pretty large amount. He does not need the state of North Carolina, 15 electoral votes, nor does he need Georgia, 16 electoral votes. So these are four relatively large states, and he could actually win Arizona and not win Pennsylvania and still win the election. So he could win Arizona and then lose Pennsylvania, 20 electoral votes, 29 electoral votes, 15 electoral votes, and 16 electoral votes from states that he is expected to win. So Trump has a lot of catching up to do. I think that he's still going to win Georgia, might win North Carolina, but definitely he has some catching up to do in Florida, in Arizona, as well as the Rust Belt. I think that if Donald Trump does not carry one of these Rust Belt states, he cannot win the election. And basically there's 90% chance that if Donald Trump does not carry these states, he cannot win the election because he would have to flip a state. And I do not see Trump flipping a state. Like, you guys can comment down below which state you think Trump has the highest chance of flipping from 2016. I honestly, in my opinion, the closest state that I think Trump would be able to flip would actually be the state of Nevada. But 86% chance of going to Joe Biden. This is a state that is been polling pretty horribly for Donald Trump compared to 2016. So I really do not see Trump flipping any state. As long as Biden wins these three Rust Belt states, he cannot lose the election because he will be over 270 electoral votes. And this just shows how their, percentage chance of victory has changed for Joe Biden over time. There's no data over here. This was before the forecast started. I believe the forecast started around over here at this time. Currently, Joe Biden 81.5% chance of victory, Donald Trump 18%. And then looking before this, Biden's numbers have definitely dropped. They peaked at around 89-90%, and they have fallen steadily. He's now at 81%. And then the electoral vote count forecast 328, he peaked at around 348 electoral votes, almost 350 electoral votes for Joe Biden. So his numbers have definitely fallen in terms of his electoral vote count, electoral college forecast, as well as his percentage chance of victory. And then you can run this model yourself. I'm not going to do that in this video, but you can definitely check this forecast out for yourself. It's a new Statesman forecast. I think it's a little bit different from the other forecasts that we have taken a look at on this channel. And this is probably my favorite part, the state-by-state model history. As you can see, it plots out how these states have voted in the past, as well as this model's prediction over time for chances of victory for either candidate and the state polling over time. So I just want to take a look at some of the closest states. Let's first take a look at Arizona. As you can see here, the Democratic Party has not done well in this state. The Republicans have been able to win almost every single election. The last time that a Democrat carried it was 1996, and that was just that one-off time for the Republicans. Bill Clinton carried the state of Arizona, giving him 379 electoral votes. The model prediction over time, as you can see, Joe Biden had a little bit of a dip there. However, his numbers have come all the way back up. 65% chance that Arizona is going to go to Biden. The state polling over time basically reflects the same thing. Let's see, another close state, Florida. Definitely Florida got closer, 65%. The polling has also gotten quite a bit closer. As you can see, it started off at around 53-46. Now it's 51-48. So definitely alarming for Joe Biden in the state of Florida. And looking at the results here, what we can see is that Florida has gone to both Democrats and Republicans. It has gone to more Republicans, but it did go to Barack Obama both times. It went to George W. Bush both times. 2000, of course, when he won the state by 537 votes, as in the popular vote. The state went to Bill Clinton in 96. 92 it did not. It went to Bush in 92. Of course, before this, it went to Ronald Reagan, 84, 88. Jimmy Carter, 1980. 88 went to Bush, 84, 80 went to Reagan, and then 76 it went to Carter. So the state of Florida has gone to both Democrats and Republicans. It can definitely swing in favor of either candidate, in my opinion. I think this is one of the true toss-up states, but the numbers are showing good signs for Donald Trump. However, still not good, as he is still polling behind Joe Biden in this forecast. I don't know why it did that, but I'm gonna go all the way down there again. So basically you can run this model for yourself. I'm going to take a look at some other interesting states here. Let's take a look at Georgia. I think Georgia is pretty interesting that Joe Biden is expected to win. I think this forecast might be a little bit biased towards the left, but as you can see, Georgia has not gone to a Democrat since 1992. With Bill Clinton's victory, he lost his state in 1996. Barack Obama was unable to close that gap. And then looking at the model prediction over time, Trump was basically never expected to win the state according to this model. The polling data that they present also does not show this. I do not think this is correct. I do think that Joe Biden is not leading in Georgia. I'm pretty sure Trump is leading here, so I'm not really too sure about the state of Georgia, but let's take a look at one more state. I want to take a look at Texas, actually. So the state of Texas, currently the numbers are improving for President Trump in Texas, 58-46 right now. As you can see, a couple of months ago, it was up at 50-49, and model prediction over time, as you can see, Trump's numbers have jumped all the way up to a 66% chance of victory. And then the historical presidential election results here. The last time a Democrat won was Jimmy Carter in 1976. He was a Southerner from the state of Georgia, so he was able to flip the South temporarily for the basically the only time in which the South actually went to a Democrat was when Jimmy Carter ran in 1976. Of course, he lost in a landslide in 1980 to Reagan, and after that, the Republicans have been able to carry this state. So Texas being this close really is quite surprising that Joe Biden is doing so well right now. So that is all the data on this forecast. Again, this is their electoral map, a little bit different from the other ones that we've seen before, but I'm going to I'm going to talk about this forecast in the future as well as it updates if there are any major updates to the forecast. But right now, Joe Biden expected to win 350 electoral votes due to their state-by-state forecast, and then President Donald Trump 188 electoral votes. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like down below as well as subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate that. Leave your thoughts in the comments below along with any video suggestions for videos you'd like to see from me in the future, and I will see you in the next video.